Hello, this is JM183, and this is another episode of Pierre's Path to Glory. This time out is the Austrian Grand Prix in Spielberg, which is the home Grand Prix of Red Bull. Of course, it is the Red Bull Ring, so hopefully for a good result to please the team this weekend. On the track acclimatization test in practice, and it looks like a few green scores in there. It's such a short track; it's pretty difficult to get the purple score if you make a few mistakes. But luckily, just about scrape it there by 5 points. I think that is there, so pretty lucky to get the purple score there, and then on to qualifying sim, and I'm nowhere near the time at the minute. I'm almost a second off the pace. That is not good for my prospects in qualifying. But yeah, practice qualifying pace is never anything really to base your qualifying pace off, because the targets are a bit too high really. So into qualifying then, it's looking a little bit overcast, and hopefully it doesn't rain, because that would really throw everything to jeopardy, as the Red Bull is probably one of the quickest cars, so in the wet it just makes things less predictable, which is never good. This is my first one in qualifying, and it's on the super soft tyres, which is the second fastest tyres. The ultra softs I chose not to use at first, but unfortunately this lap was pretty awful. So I was about 10th place after that first run in qualifying, and then this is the second run, the end of the second run, with not too long to go. I'm getting slipstream off Fernando Alonso, I think this is, which has helped me out an absolute treat. And thank you very much, Fernando, and that's gave me about a tenth of a second down towards the final two corners, almost a second up on my previous best. It's 7.5 tenths at the minute, down towards the line. What position is going to put me in? I improve and get into second place, I believe, which is pretty decent. But Nico Carey with a shock result on pole position for Toro Rosso, which is pretty amazing. The first pole since I was there last season in Germany. So Nico Carey on pole, 2 tenths for myself, with Verstappen, my teammate, in third. Raikkonen, Hamilton, Vettel and Ricciardo, the Mercedes and Ferraris, the next in line, with Hulkenberg 8th. Ocon with a 9th place in the Mano, which is amazing. And then a few other guys running out the top 10, with Alonso in 12th, Carlos Sainz 13th. Grosjean in 14th, outperforming Gutierrez massively once again, with the two Renaults 15th and 16th, Russell in 17th, Perez, Button, Gutierrez, Leclerc and Giovinazzi round out the grid in the two Saubers, not too far off the pace though.
Austria, traditional home of many great things. Apple strudel, Mozart, Niki Lauda, oh and of course one of the finest high-speed racetracks on the planet. We're right in the thick of the season now, and the championship battle is hotting up. But if there's any race that stands to rip up the form book, it's this one.
So it's looking like a two-stop race. I'm going to go ultra soft, soft, super soft for the race strategy, and hopefully that will pay off quite well. But first thing first, we've got Nico Carey to deal with. He's on pole position right now, and 5 red lights. And it's away we go for the Austrian Grand Prix, a very long haul. We've got a very good launch compared to Nico Carey straight away in the Red Bull, in the Toro Rosso I should say, the sister team. So down the inside into turn 1, but he's going to turn in, just about see me out. So good defensive driving there for Nico Carey, who is on his first ever pole position in just his 8th race of his career, which is pretty astonishing to be fair. And now into turn 3 for the first time, I'm going to go up the inside of Nico Carey, try and take the position off him. But he brakes late again, goes right around the outside, and is able to hold it on the traction down towards turn 4. So very well done to him for that. But he's held the lead for now. I've got a bit of a lead to Verstappen already in 3rd place, and then all hell's breaking loose in the background, I think. But down towards turn 4 for the first time, and Nico Carey still holding the lead. But I've got into the end of the start lap 2 now, down towards turn 2 for the second time in this race. I've got a very good exit off of turn 1. The slipstream is real. Go to the outside. I've got Rich Mix on against Nico Carey. Here we go, around the outside. He's almost forced me off the track. I'm going to take to the grass, but he's broken later. I'm going to go for the undercut strategy. Just about see him off, and that was a very nice move up into the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix, ahead of Nico Carey, my teammate in the sister team, if you will. So then our virtual safety car's come out. I'm not quite sure why, but it looks like Verstappen isn't third anymore. But here's a replay of the start, and it is a very long hold, and it's lights out for Nico Carey, and he gets a very good start. The Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton also puts it down the middle of the Ferrari and the Red Bull of Vettel and Ricciardo, and Verstappen, my teammate, I should say. But it's side by side with myself and Carey, but as we know, Carey held the position into turn 2, and just behind, I think there's about 15 wide in the background, Verstappen and Vettel and Raikkonen, and everyone's like next to each other pretty much in the midfield. There's a dive bomb there, I didn't know if you see it, by George Russell in the Manor. He gained about 4 positions there into turn 2, so very well done to him. But here is Sebastian Vettel. It was actually Raikkonen who was ahead, my mistake, but Vettel, you can see the side-by-side action. There's a bit of contact there, sideways moment for Lewis Hamilton, and Vettel tries to take advantage, goes straight past Hamilton. And he's now behind his teammate Raikkonen, but can't really do much at all into turn 2, as it's pretty far back for Vettel here. And he's defending, in fact, from the Mercedes on his outside, or it's the Williams I should say, I don't know where the Mercedes has gone, but he actually goes right at the inside of Raikkonen, who braked quite early. So Vettel almost caught him unawares there, but not quite. Raikkonen is able to see it out on traction. Here's the view from Fernando Alonso, who was P12 in the midfield, very much so. But it was quite a long hold, as I reiterate myself. But yeah, Alonso with a good start. The Williams of Nico Hülkenberg also gets a good start, just ahead, and looks to overtake his teammate Valtteri Bottas, who qualified ninth. And the Esteban Ocon on the outside there, just about seen out by Bottas, and the other Williams of Hülkenberg trying to overtake him. But there is Carlos Sainz, who couldn't match his teammate at all, and there is George Russell, who I was talking about. You can just see how much of a dive bomb it was. He overtakes the Force India, Carlos Sainz, his teammate, and one of the Williams cars. So 4 overtakes in one corner there. And he overtakes a Mercedes even. He's side by side with Lewis Hamilton. So George Russell in the manor, which is still a very slow car. George Russell doing an absolute mad job at the minute. And now onto lap 4, you can just see I've got the gap open to Nico Carey now, and we go purple on the lap 4. So very nice to see. And there's quite a big gap between Carey and Verstappen as well. Here's Verstappen and Raikkonen going side by side into the final 2 corners. They're wheel-to-wheel action. Still side by side, and it's very, very close. Verstappen gets forced onto the curb, and that allows Raikkonen to just about get a position into 3rd place now for Kimi Raikkonen. Very well done to him. And now, that's the very same lap. The 3 wide is Carlos Sainz with Daniel Ricciardo and Sebastian Vettel, and Sainz actually spins around there. 3 wide is never a good idea. Into the final 2 corners here in Austria. It's very, very narrow, and Carlos Sainz just about losing out there. He's not really got back to the highs of his 2 podiums in a row in Spain and Monaco earlier this season. As now it's Nico Carey's turn to shine, it seems. We're coming into the pits on lap 7. The tyre wear wasn't too bad, really, thanks partially to that virtual safety car, which allowed me to save the tyres slightly, but now picking onto soft tyres. Everyone else has pitted already, so hopefully they haven't undercut me. But now the manner of George Russell, who started on soft, is now going to take the lead. So he's leading the race in a manner in his 8th ever Grand Prix in Formula 1, and he's the very young Mercedes protege in a manner for this season is now leading, and I've still got a bit of advantage from the Force India of Pascal Wehrlein and the 2 McLarens just behind him in 4th and 5th. But now I've got to overtake George Russell. 4th position this is, so he's currently in the lead. I'm trying to overtake him. I'm pit stop ahead of him already, but nonetheless it's still an amazing job to be in the lead, and he's going to hold it around the outside of me, and I've got the way faster car and can't overtake him at the minute. But I've still got the inside line for the next 2 corners, the sweeping left and right hander. But George Russell almost brake checked me there. I had to get out the throttle massively there to make sure I didn't lose the front wing. But he's still holding it in the lead, which is an amazing job. And through the last 2 corners, I should have just had the better downforce, so it should be quite straightforward to close up the gap once again after he brake checked me. But we've got DRS open now and a much better traction on exit thanks to the Red Bull being far superior, and up the inside now of George Russell into turn 1, and that's like quite a simple move. Once it's come off, there we go, up into the lead again for Pierre Gasly, and it looks like I should be able to run away with this race right at the minute. 10 laps in, I've got a big lead over the next car who hasn't pitted yet, which I think is Max Verstappen. But here's Lewis Hamilton, who's not had the best race so far. He's on super soft tyres at the minute, and he's looking, oh, he's actually got an engine failure, so he's not looking to do anything. He's looking for a safe place to park now, thanks to that engine failure. But here's the order. George Russell still in 2nd place with Pascal Wehrlein in 3rd, followed by the 2 McLarens and Nico Carey, who's still in a net 2nd place. But here's Alonso going up the inside of Jenson Button, and Nico Carey's trying to capitalise. He's almost going to lose out to Raikkonen here. So it's Carey and Raikkonen in the net 2nd and 3rd place at the minute, and the 2 Alonso defending from Jenson Button. But here's the Raikkonen trying to overtake Nico Carey into turn 4. He looks to it, but doesn't quite come off. Looks like Alonso's locked up though, just ahead. You just saw the smoke. Alonso has locked up massively, and there's Max Verstappen going to try and take advantage as well. So Carey looks to the inside of Fernando Alonso, and it's going to be side by side into a section where you really shouldn't be going side by side. Alonso's going to hold it around the outside, despite having the inferior car and tyres. But Alonso's still holding it there. Very well done to him, the 2-time world champion in the McLaren. Just about seeing out Nico Carey, and Raikkonen's come to the inside line. It's 3 wide. We saw how this turned out earlier, but Raikkonen's got a much better position, and he's barged his way through. It's side by side now. Alonso, Carey, and Kimi Raikkonen, who's going to gain both positions now. Raikkonen gets 2 positions. Carey loses out, and he loses out to. It looks like he's going to lose out to Verstappen as well. So Raikkonen's into a net 2nd, and it's Verstappen and Carey for a net 3rd. But there's a Magnussen going up the inside, and he's spun out on the side pod of Max Verstappen, and that's also collided with Carlos Sainz and the Williams, and I think Nico Hülkenberg. So very, very hectic race in the midfield. But now on lap 21, Sebastian Vettel's right behind me. I'm not quite sure, like, he's a lap down. I don't know what's happened to him this race, but he's going to go to the inside to try and unlap himself. I'm not quite sure what he's doing, because he's massively holding me up. And, like, it's ridiculous pretty much that Vettel thinks he can just, like, not stay behind me. He's famed almost for ranting about blue flags, and he's now completely ignoring the blue flag rule and trying to battle the leader when, like, he's a lap down and he's got no chance of points. So what's the point of overtaking me? And here's Esteban Ocon, who had that amazing qualifying and a good start to the race, but he's defending from Carlos Sainz now in the Toro Rosso, and his engine fails as well. So it's the 2nd Mercedes engine of the race that gives up, following Lewis Hamilton earlier. So very, very disappointing for him. But now on to lap 26. my tyres are shot, I'm going to pit this lap onto a set of super soft tyres, going to the end of the race, and I've got a massive lead at the minute. So hopefully I can just continue that for the rest of the race. But onto super soft tyres, I think it's still Raikkonen, Verstappen and Carey, the next cars in order. So Raikkonen's doing very, very well in that Ferrari to be ahead of my teammate Verstappen, and he'll be hoping to try and close the gap. But as I say that, Verstappen pits on the same lap, so I might have screwed him over a little bit, because Verstappen might have to wait for the stupid thing in this game where if you are within like 20 seconds of your teammate pitting, your team just don't do anything, and you have another scene of Ricciardo in 2016 Monaco Grand Prix happening. But never mind, lap 28, and I'm flying on these new tyres, very lightly worn at the minute, but that's just because we can't have the pit stop. And going to lap 28, we set a purple lap by 1.2 seconds faster than my previous best. And here's a few cars going out the pit lane who are also a lap down. And once again, it's Sebastian Vettel, who's probably going to be a nuisance as he was earlier. But here we go on to lap 30, and Vettel is going to look to ignore his blue flag orders once again. An absolute annoyance to myself as I'm trying to just absolutely fly away from Raikkonen and Verstappen. But Vettel's trying to do his best to put me off. Maybe he's trying to help Raikkonen catch me, I don't know. But Vettel's going to the inside. I have DRS, even though Vettel shouldn't be battling me as he's a lap down, so pretty annoying to say the least. But Vettel's still looking to capitalise, and for some reason that's a Manor ahead of him. It's not a Manor, I think it's a Sauber or a Haas of Gutierrez. And Sebastian Vettel is about 17th, so he's not really getting anything by overtaking me. I'm not quite sure why he's doing it. He's making contact at every corner. Is he trying to take me out or something? But I don't know what he's doing. He's maybe trying to help Raikkonen out. You know, Ferrari are famed for cheating, but Vettel is looking to do his best to annoy me. And yeah, he's doing it quite successfully. He goes for an absolute dive bomb and then parks it. We make a load of contact. I could have lost the front wing quite easily there. Vettel's being stupid here, and onto lap 33 now. He's going back up the inside into turn 1. Even though he's a lap down, what is the point? And I'm going to have to go right around the outside. This is costing me so much time. And I don't know where Verstappen and Raikkonen are, but for all I know, they could be absolutely flying up to my rear end. And Vettel now onto lap 35, he's going to go to the outside line once again. And the blue flags are real here. Vettel doesn't want to obey him for some reason. I'm going to go to the stewards probably after the race and ask them about it, see what they think. But Vettel, I've managed to get the position. It's not even a position. I've managed to get the track position back, even though Vettel's doing his best just to get in my way, and he goes up the inside again. And there's the Haas of Gutierrez ahead, so Vettel's got nothing to gain apart from bragging rights over Gutierrez, and who cares about that? He's gone round the outside now, and the blue flags are in order, so Vettel should get out of my way, but instead he's just going to go wide and almost block me on the track. So Vettel's right around the outside now. This is very dangerous because this is not a good place to be side by side, as we saw earlier with McLaren and my teammate. And Vettel's actually tagged me. We're in the wall now, and what are you doing, Vettel? Stupid. What is that? Vettel has taken me out, and I've lost a front wing now. What is he doing, honestly? So Vettel has taken me out of this race. He's a lap down. What is he doing? It's P17, and he's sticking up the inside. There's space there to go to the right. It just hits my side pod. He's out of the race. I've lost a front wing, and Vettel has taken me out now.
Honestly, what the f*** are we doing here? I made contact. I had nowhere to go.
So I do not know what he's doing here, but Vettel decided he wants to battle me. Fair enough, but get out of my way when the blue flags are in order. And he just completely takes me out there, sticks his car on the inside line, which I'm entitled to because I am in the lead. Don't forget, he's in 17th, so there's space on the right hand side for him to go into, but instead he just drives into my side pod, takes me out of the race, and that has put my not my championship, but it's put this race into jeopardy certainly, as I've had to now finish with a broken front wing, as I figured it'd be faster to not pit because it's quite a short lap in Austria. But here goes the two drivers right behind me. I've only got a few corners to go, but Verstappen's still going to manage to go past me into the lead of the race, my teammate, which is painful seeing as he's my closest championship rival as well. And here's the teammate of the cheat, going to get second place, Kimi Raikkonen. He's done pretty well himself. I don't know if Ferrari have got a conspiracy against me or something, but Vettel has completely wiped me out this race, and unfortunately it's going to be third place, which is massively annoying because that's 10 points lost right there. So Verstappen wins from Kimi Raikkonen and myself in third place, Ricciardo in fourth in the Mercedes, with Nico Carey dropping back from pole into fifth place, with Pascal Wehrlein in sixth, very well done for him, in the Force India, with Carlos Sainz in seventh, Bottas, George Russell scoring points after his early strong showing in the race, with Hulkenberg rounding out the points finishes in 10th, and Sergio Perez just making it out 11th. There's going to be a big inquest into this, with Romain Grosjean 12th doing well for Haas, Magnussen, Alonso, Button, Gutierrez in 16th, Julian Palmer 17th, with Giovinazzi and Leclerc in the Saubers rounding out the points. rounding out the finishes, I should say, with Sebastian, the absolute cheat Vettel for DNFing, and then Esteban Ocon and Lewis Hamilton with those engine failures early in the race. So my championship lead is now only 20 points to Max Verstappen, which is a lot more precarious than what it was before. Cheers, Vettel. So I'm going straight to the stewards after this. It's going to be a big inquest, and my team I don't think are happy as well, judging by what they said to me on the radio after the race. So yeah, very, very disappointing. Here's some interviews to listen to.
Do you think that Sebastian Vettel has respect for other drivers? We could see when you were both slowing down, it was a bit heated. He was very vocal on team radio as well.
Well, the things he says on the radio, I don't think he has any respect for anyone, because he's saying so many bad language. So I think he has to go back to school instead of saying kindergarten all the time. So it's just ridiculous. He's a very frustrated guy at the moment. Well, the team is already at the steward, so we'll see what happens.
It's a little bit of a joke what they've done here.
It does seem quite chaotic. People running back and forth and all of. I mean, have you sent Jonathan Wheatley up now to discuss it? What's going on?
Believe me, it'll be a big discussion.
So during the stewards' inquiry post-race, they determined that Sebastian Vettel actually deserves a one-race ban for his antics of taking out the race leader, who is almost certain to win the race. So the first race ban since Romain Grosjean in the 2012 Italian Grand Prix. So I'm not sure what Ferrari are going to do, but they will be allowed to replace him. So Sebastian Vettel will now have to sit out the British Grand Prix, which is pretty detrimental to his championship position. But he gets what he deserves. Absolute, I don't even know. It's just so annoying to be taken out by a lapped car. So that is going to be the end of this video. I just felt ahead of Verstappen in the rivalry, which is quite nice. But if you liked it, leave a like on it. Subscribe if you want to see more. This has been JY83, and I will see you next time.